everyone, and welcome to Molehill Mountain, episode 68. Andrew Eisen here, along with Zachary Knight. This time with video.
Hello.
Zachary.
Yep, I've got video today. Well, so how are you doing?
No, it's the lid on my water is making a sound. Okay.
Interesting.
I'm doing okay. I'm dealing with some pretty severe first world problems these days, but other than that, things are going swimmingly. Jordan is making fun of me in the chat, saying, "Nobody say Joy-Con. It might be a trigger word, and we don't need Andrew having an aneurysm." And yeah.
Yeah.
If you didn't know,
I saw your video.
Yeah, one of my better performing videos of late. Not surprisingly, I guess. Still less than 10% of my subscribers. Although someone told me unsubscribed. For anyone who doesn't know, I bought a Switch. The reason being is I pre-ordered Super Mario Odyssey, because it looks amazing and I must play it. And you might be saying, but Andrew, I thought you didn't pay $60 for video games. I don't. But I'm more than willing to pay $47.99 for Super Mario Odyssey, which if you have Amazon Prime, which I don't, you can pre-order it at that price. But a friend of mine does have Amazon Prime, so I gave him my credit card and I said, here, pre-order Mario Odyssey for me. And then I figured, well... So Wednesday, I believe, I had the opportunity to get a Switch. I had to drive a whole 12 miles out of my way to get it, but I had the opportunity to go buy a Switch, so I did. And I brought it home and
Nice.
decided it was pretty late at night. I knew I didn't have time to play anything. I also didn't have any games, so but I thought, you know what? For whatever reason, there are no Switch demo stations anywhere, and so I've never actually held the Joy-Con controller, and so I thought, I'll open up the box and pull out the Joy-Con and see what it's like, because there's few things more exciting than a new Nintendo controller. No matter how goofy they are, they're at least interesting. So I thought, why not? I'll turn on the camera and do a stupid unboxing video. One of the most boring videos on YouTube, I feel, but some people seem to like them. So I sat down on camera and I talked about basically what I just told you. And I opened up the box and I grabbed the Joy-Con and I went, oh no. Oh no. This is the worst controller I've ever held. Oh no. How could this be? I really was not expecting that. I mean, I delivered it in a much different way. It's pretty funny because I don't usually, unless I'm playing for the camera, I don't look excited about, oh boy, let's handle a Joy-Con. I'm my regular self. I'm saying, okay, we're going to hold it now. And my face immediately goes into confusion, because my face goes like I'm horribly confused about something, and then morphs into this disgusted face, like I just put a Switch cartridge in my mouth. It's like, and I'm like, oh god, they're terrible. And so the video is a 5-minute introduction of 15 minutes of me going, how did Nintendo manage the worst controller I've ever held? And I don't bother with third-party controllers, so yeah, I've never held the Nokia N-Gage. So I'm sure there are worse than the Joy-Con, but I was not expecting that. It absolutely blindsided me. I was so taken aback that I had such a poor response to these controllers. I mean, if you had asked me before I shot the video what I thought my impressions would be, I honestly would have said, I'll probably say something along the lines of, well, they're kind of dinky and goofy, but they're controllers for something that needs to be portable, so that's to be expected. Other than, they're a little small, but other than that, yeah, these are fine. These will work just fine. But I also went in knowing that there was a not horrible chance that, because it's Nintendo, that I'd go in and I'd hold them and I'd go, ooh, these are a little small and goofy, but yeah, these feel right. These feel good. That leave it to Nintendo to make these dinky, goofy looking little controllers actually feel good in your hands. I absolutely, not in a million years did I expect to hold them and go, oh God, it's horrible. So that wasn't fun. That wasn't fun at all. So yeah, that's yeah. Yeah. And so someone saw my reaction and said, I'm unsubscribing because you've changed, man. You do not. He seemed to, I'm guessing he seemed to have the impression that I'm, for the last 6 years, I've been doing predominantly Nintendo puff pieces. Just Nintendo videos that are, Nintendo is the greatest, most flawless company that has ever accompanied. Which I'm thinking, have you ever actually watched any of my videos? And he even name dropped my first video, the Nintendo Why Won't You Let Me Give You My Money. He says, and your first epic video. I'm like, did you watch it? Because that was really, really highly critical of Nintendo. Most of my Nintendo content is critical of Nintendo, but I criticize because I love. So yeah, that was unexpected.
It was funny though.
Well, I'm glad you got a laugh. Most people got a kick out of it. There's a couple people who don't know what the word hyperbole means, or capricious, or tantrum. I'm like, you might want to look these words up in the dictionary, because I said a couple naughty words, but I didn't cry, I didn't scream, I didn't punch the wall, I didn't flip the table, I didn't throw anything across the room. I mean, I was aghast, I suppose you could say, but tantrum? No. I wasn't even mad. You want to see me mad? Check out the that 30 days of porn video I did that went really horribly wrong. That's me. That's restrained Andy anger, that one. But yeah, that, man, wasn't expecting that. I mean, these controllers are so uncomfortable, or they're not uncomfortable. They're so bad to me that, and if you've seen the video, you know that I'm like, oh God, should I take this back? And I even said in the video, I know I'm not going to do that, but that was one of my responses. I'm like, oh, should I just take the whole thing back? The whole generation of games is ruined now. So,
yeah. It's good stuff.
So how's your week been? Have you ever held a Joy-Con controller, out of curiosity?
No, I haven't yet.
Okay. My sister actually called me to sympathize. She's like, I'm so sorry. I'm like, yeah, I know.
That's funny. Yeah, no, I haven't had a chance to play with the Switch yet, so I don't know what it's like. But no, my week has been kind of a mixed week. I'm still trying to get some computers working. I got a hard drive for my laptop earlier this week, but I couldn't get it to read on anything. On my main laptop, it couldn't detect it there. When I tried to install my operating system on it, I stuck it in an external hard drive case. Couldn't get it to read off of that. I don't know if it's the cable or what, because I don't know what happened to the cable I was using a week or so ago. But and then I decided, okay, let's stick it into this laptop to know it's working and see if it'll read it in there. And nope, couldn't get it to work, so I had to send that one back and order a new one. And it was supposed to arrive yesterday, and Amazon said that it was out for delivery yesterday, but it never showed up. And it finally showed up today around 5 o'clock. And now I'm trying to get my laptop to work again, and I'm wondering if there's something wrong with my graphics card, because I managed to install Ubuntu back on it, and then I installed the proprietary NVIDIA drivers, and it had the same error that it had a couple weeks ago when it went bad, and so I'm wondering if there's something wrong with the graphics card, because this is the driver I installed is the same driver I've been using for a long time, and so yeah, I don't know what's going on. So I'm going to try running everything without the proprietary driver and see how that works, because it managed to boot up with just from a fresh install, and I was able to start doing stuff, but I was having some problems installing some software from files, like Google Chrome. For some reason, it wasn't installing Google Chrome, so I'm trying to figure that out once I reinstall the operating system, because I don't want to deal with the graphics driver, and since I'm still I haven't done anything with this computer to get frustrated with a reinstall. But yeah, so nothing much has been going on this week. I haven't played any games. I haven't done any game development work or anything. It's just kind of been a slow week for me because of these computer issues I had. Oh, and the other I thought I had a working desktop, and it booted up. I was able to play around with it for a while, and then I woke up Thursday morning, maybe Wednesday morning, and it had crashed, and now it can't boot up the operating system. It's running Windows 10, and something happened, and now it can't run the operating system off of it. And
Oh, Microsoft.
that really annoys me.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So I'm trying to figure out.
This is why I like Linux, damn it.
I couldn't. Well, it's just I'm about ready to just sell all these computers or throw them away or something, because they're ticking me off. So we'll see how things go. But yeah.
Matthew asks if I have played the Octopath Traveler demo. Actually, I'm playing it right now. It's currently up on the screen over there. And I was thinking I could angle the camera and show it off, but I could also, I suppose, just grab the Switch out of the dock and show it, although the glare would probably not work. But
yeah,
actually, because I haven't done that. I haven't pulled this thing out of the dock. So let's see this in action. Oh, that's neat. Yeah, and we've got too much glare. This black thing over on the right, you can't see it. Closer? No. Come on, back on me.
Yeah,
there you go. You
kind
can
of
see
make out
Project
some
Octopath
squares.
Traveler. Yeah, that black thing over there. That's the Octopath Traveler demo. I'm just on the main screen. How hot is this? Yeah. It's warm, but it's not like super hot. So let's.
Yeah.
I'm gonna watch the magic. Goes back in the dock, and that takes a little bit longer than the commercials imply, but it's actually not bad. From TV to the console is about, I'd say that was about a second, maybe. Let me see. Yeah, that's about 1 second. And get in there. That's about 4, almost 5 seconds for it to go back on the TV. Although I imagine that probably depends on your TV.
Yeah.
Also,
possibly.
If I may gripe about a couple of just small nitpicky things about the Switch, the power cord and the HDMI cord are like 5 feet long. not unusable, but they're shorter than every other piece of hardware's power cord and HDMI. Why does Nintendo? Are they saving a lot of money on a foot and a half a cord? Aren't HDMI
I
cables
don't know.
typically like 6 feet? I mean, I didn't measure
Usually,
anything, but I
you
pulled them
can
out of the
get them a
box.
different size, but
Yeah,
yeah.
I didn't measure anything, but I'm like, wow, this. Why is this so short? Luckily, it's actually close. I can imagine some people are like, I don't want my. I'm going to need an extension cord to plug the damn dock in. Um, it's also kind of weird because the dock, the HDMI plug and the power plug into the back of the dock, but there's this little door in the back that opens up so you can feed the cables on the side and close the door,
Hmm.
which makes it less convenient to. I mean, because if you want to take the cable with you to charge the switch, you're going to need to climb behind whatever it's plugged behind and unplug it from the wall, and then open the door and jiggle the thing out. It's a kind of an odd design choice, especially for something that they want to be portable. I guess you're supposed to just only play it for the 3 hours its batteries last, or buy a different charging solution rather than take uh, the power cable with you. Also, I typically, because I haven't bought a modern switcher box yet, I just move my HDMI cable from console to console, whatever I'm going to play. I can't do that now
Hmm.
because it's a pain in the ass because I got to grab the dock, I got to turn it around, I
Yeah.
got to yank the back open, pull it. So now everything actually runs through a video capture device so that I can capture footage on my PC if need be. So now I'm just moving the other end of the cable rather than the console end, but it's like, why? Also, here's another weird one. You have user accounts on the Switch, so yay.
Yeah.
And when you start it up, you have to pick which user account you're using. That's fine. PS4 does the same thing. Netflix does the same thing. Whatever. So you're in your user account. Every time you select a piece of software, whether it's a game or a demo or going to the eShop, it asks you which user account you want. It's like, the one I'm in. Why do I have to choose the user account every time? I already did the first time. It's an extra press of the A button. It's not that big a deal, but it's just a genuinely odd choice.
Is there
Um,
not a way to
there
force that as a
maybe there
default?
there may be an option somewhere. But here's another weird thing: no instructions. There's no user manual. There isn't even a plastic or a small little fold out card like this end goes to your TV, this end goes to the Switch. Nothing. If I didn't know that the Joy-Con charge on the side of the Switch, I would be wondering how the hell you charge the Joy-Cons. Uh,
Yeah.
because there's nothing that says, unless it's written on the box somewhere. The only literature that comes in the box is that folded English, Spanish, and French thing that says, "Please don't take a bath with this; you'll get electrocuted." The health and safety information card. That's the only thing in
Yeah.
there, which is weird to me.
Huh.
Um,
That is weird.
yeah. What else is
Maybe they're
there?
expecting you to go online to learn how to use your brand new console.
I
But yeah, that is
guess
weird.
I haven't actually seen an online manual. I mean, a manual in the like settings or anything. Now, to be fair, it's pretty intuitive, at least to me. Oh, HDMI. Well, that
Hmm.
goes to the TV to the console. Oh, power. That goes into the wall. And the power. This goes here. It's easy for me. I know
Yeah.
it. But I can imagine there might be some parents going like, the Joy-Con don't work anymore, and uh, I, it doesn't take batteries. There's no like little
There's no
phone jack
plug. Yeah.
port to play. I don't know how to charge these. Oh, they charge when they're on the side of the Switch. Oh, great. No one told me that though. So there are some odd little quirks to this system.
Yeah.
Here's another one that actually surprised me. Um, you can pick from a bunch of different art to use as your profile picture. I have Mario on a red background because that was the default. But you can choose Samus or a Pikmin or something else.
Yeah.
But you can also select a me. But unlike what's interesting is your My Nintendo account was able to import your me from your console. I was expecting that when I hooked up my Switch, when I connected my Switch to my Nintendo account, it would pull in my me so I didn't have to recreate it again. Nope. Got to create it from scratch. Now, if you have an amiibo, you can put your me on an amiibo, and you can put your amiibo on the Switch that way. I'm just kind of surprised that since it will link the my Nintendo account, it doesn't pull in your amiibo for profile picture use. Again, not a huge deal, just kind of odd.
Yeah.
So, Scotty asks, "Is your Switch just full of demos?" Yes, it is. I have no games. I have the demos. I have all the demos. Zachary, there are hundreds of games on the Nintendo eShop. If you had to guess, and you do, how many demos would you imagine are currently available on the Switch eShop?
Oh, I would say probably about 20% of the games. And that's what I would consider a high estimate.
Okay, so if there's approximately, I don't know, 300 games on there, well, let's lowball it and say 200. That's 40 demos, right?
So about 40 games.
Okay.
Yeah, 40 demos.
There are 7. 7.
Lovely.
Yeah, and one of them is Just Dance, so I only downloaded 6 of them. But it gives me something to do while I wait for Super Mario Odyssey to come out. Here, actually,
Just Dance really need a demo?
it's been running for Just Dance.
Fans of the game have,
maybe I will download it and give it a try, because what the hell else am I gonna do, right? I've played PS3 and PS4 games, I guess. Actually have some unplayed GameCube games that I could go back to. I have a lot of unplayed games. Another quirk of the Switch that, again, not a huge deal, just one of those small things. As far as I can tell, there's no actual way to search the eShop for demos. There's you can search by price, you can search by popularity. There are a couple different ways to filter, but there's no filter games that include a demo, which is odd. I think also the tiles displaying each game have no indication that there's a demo, so you'd ostensibly have to check the main page of every single game to see if it has a demo. I think the Wii U actually has the ability to filter by demo. I could be totally wrong and misremembering that. However, if you search demo, it will pull up the 7 games that have demos. So there is a way to do it at least. But again, another little quirk. So, so the demos are, if anyone, it's Just Dance 2017, Project Octopath Traveler, and God, I hope they keep that name. That's so much fun. Maybe they'll just call it Octopath Traveler. Snipper Clips, which is really not fun to play by yourself. Forget holding the joy. Forget the horror that is trying to play a game while holding a Joy-Con on its side with or without the rail. Snipper Clips is adorable as all get out, but yeah, that's just not a game you want to play by yourself. Blaster Master Zero, Voez, Voice, VOEZ. It's a music rhythm game. D-Skya 5, and Puyo Puyo Pop. I'm sorry, Puyo Puyo Tennis. Puyo Puyo Tetris is what it is. So, boy. So those are the demos. and they're all pretty
Okay.
decent demos. So, and the best
Well,
one,
that's
of
good.
course, is Voice, because that one you don't have to use the Joy-Con to play. It's a touchscreen game. So I guess I was incorrect when I said that my Switch is going to be docked and never will it come out of its dock. I will never play in handheld mode. Well, that's not true, because I played Voice in handheld mode because it doesn't work on the TV. You can poke at your television screen all you want; it's not going to do anything. You have to play it in the handheld
That
mode.
is true.
So,
Yeah.
oh, what's the chat talking about? Just Dance 2018, Just Shoot Me edition. Yeah. Do I already have Rayman Legends? That Origins was, yes. I have Legends on the Wii U. Yeah. Yes, I do. It's an
Yeah.
excellent game, which is why I have no interest in the definitive edition for the Switch, because I already have it for the Wii U. And there isn't really much that makes it that definitive, other than I mean, there's like an extra multiplayer mode kind of thing, which I don't care about. I think there might be some extra characters, which I really don't care about. I mean, that's cool, but it's not enough to buy a new game. And all the touchscreen stuff was removed. All the Murphy stuff, which, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
you may say it wasn't removed. They did it the way they did it on the PlayStation and Xbox consoles. Instead of swiping around on the touchscreen, you use button prompts, which makes the levels kind of pointless and boring. Even if you don't like the Murphy stages, it's kind of like, if you don't have the touchscreen, you probably would have been better off just removing them or reworking them, because they're kind of, it's not the same. So, yeah. Oh, if you were wondering, has my opinion of the Joy-Con changed in the last few days? Yeah, actually, it's got worse. I'm not kidding. I said during the video that the Joy-Con wasn't. I said it wasn't comfortable, and then I corrected or explained that I didn't mean it was specifically uncomfortable to hold, just that it has. There's no ergonomic feel to it. It doesn't fit your hand, right? Like most controllers, you wrap your hands around and it just melts into your hand if it's a well-designed controller. This doesn't. It's just it's like holding a television remote. Actually, this is more comfortable. But I said it's not uncomfortable. It's just not. It doesn't feel good to hold, right? After playing a bit with the Joy-Con separately, it's uncomfortable for me. It's really, yeah, it actually starts hurting my hands and my wrists and my forearms after a while. So, yeah, for me, it's put the damn things in the grip, which at least doesn't hurt. I mean, it's still a bad controller, but at least it's not completely uncomfortable to hold, which bums me out, because days ago I was really looking forward to. I thought the Joy-Con was kind of cool, because one of the things I liked about the Wii Remote and Nunchuck, is they're two pieces separated by like a foot or foot and a half cable, so you could, do any which, lay on your couch with one arm back and cross your hands on your lap, or do anything. You're not forced into a specific hand position at a specific distance. You could do whatever you want with the controllers.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's pretty great. You hold the Joy-Cons and you just play like this with your other hands over here or something. I was looking forward to that, but oh man, dude, they're just hurt after a while. So I had to pop them onto the grip, and I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna try the other Octopath, probably without the grip, just to try it some more, see if I can get used to it, maybe build up the muscle for it. But unfortunately, my opinion of the Joy-Con has actually gone down, especially after I tried to play Snipperclips, which is a game you have to play with the Joy-Con on its side. That is terrible. That is really, really not fun.
Yeah.
Wow. Here's another weird quirk. When you play snipper clips, which turns the Joy-Con on its side, when you're done playing snipper clips and you go back into the menu, the Switch expects you to still be holding that sucker sideways. So I'm like, why is it, oh, you think I'm still holding it sideways? So then I had to go into the menu and change the controller configuration.
That's weird.
I
You,
get
you
it,
would
but
think with the
yeah,
you would think it would be able to detect that you've reoriented the controller, like how your phone can detect when you go back and forth.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I guess there's a continuity to, well, you were just holding it like that in the game, so that's how you're still holding it, right? And I'm not, because it's holding it like this is terrible. So I immediately
Yeah.
try to hold it the other way. Uh, but what's interesting is let's call it vertical and horizontal position. The main menu was in vertical position. I went into the game and the game forces you to use it horizontal. Then I went out of the game and the main menu has changed to horizontal. I expected it to still be in vertical, which is how I left it. Again, I understand
Yeah.
why that works. It's a continuity thing, but I disagree with it because horizontal Joy-Con is the worst. The
Yeah.
worst. I would rather play games on my phone. You know, oh man, so bad, so bad, so bad. Let's see. Do I think they will ever be an update to get Wiimote support? No, because the Joy-Con, the right Joy-Con anyway, can kind of mimic Wii Remote functionality. In fact, it
Yeah.
does that with the Ball of Goo, World of Goo. So no, they probably will not do that. Would be
Yeah,
my
they
guess.
probably won't, and because the Joy Cons have a lot. I think because the Joy Cons have a lot more precise motion control, and the HD rumble and all that stuff. So you would basically be introducing an inferior controller
Pardon.
onto the system, and Nintendo wouldn't want to do that because
Well, the other thing is there's no well, I guess it doesn't matter. You would have to the sensor bar. You would have to have the sensor
yeah,
bar
you would have.
plugged into something else that was on, because there's no plug on the Switch for the sensor bar. Now, the sensor bar only
Yeah,
needs
that's
a
true.
power source. It doesn't send any information to the console, and the console doesn't send any information to the sensor bar.
Yeah,
It just gets power to light up. So as long as you had that plugged into your Wii or Wii U and had the Wii or Wii U on, you could use the remote with the Switch, but that would be an extra step that I don't think most people would want to do. And speaking of extra steps, you remember when people were claiming to be so amazingly confused by the Wii U and going, "Oh, what is I don't even get it. This is so it's so confusing. What do you mean? Is it a new console? Is it the same console? Is it portable? It's got a touch screen? It's oh God, what? I don't get it." And it was all bullshit. It's a new console. This is the controller. No, it's not portable. It's just a wireless controller.
yeah,
End of story. It's that simple. And then the Switch comes out, and it's a console, and it's portable, and it's got a controller that is in two pieces that charges when it's attached to the console, which can be played on the console, but it also has a grip, but it also works on its side with two players, and it also has a rail that you can slide onto the one rail, but you got to slide it off to get on. It's like, oh my God, that's not complicated.
yeah. That is
I
kind of
think people
complicated.
just didn't like the Wii, just decided they weren't going to like the Wii U and made up stupid reasons to not like it. That's what I
Yeah,
think.
generally.
So there.
That's generally how it goes. People don't like something, and then they make up reasons not to like it if they can't find anything actually, any real issues to
I've
focus
never
on.
had a problem just saying, here's the thing I don't like. I don't know why I don't like it. It just rubs me the wrong way somehow. Usually with like people. Yeah, I don't like this person. Why? I don't know. Did this person ever do wrong by you? No. No. Nice person. Always sweet to me. Don't like him. Why?
Mm,
I don't know, and I feel kind of bad about it, but I'm not going to make up stuff about him. I just don't like him.
yeah,
A personal failing of mine. I have no problem admitting that. Um,
yeah. And Matthew says that there was some messaging issues with the Wii U announcement and with the
I
Wii U review,
completely
and yeah, there
disagree with
was.
that.
And well, they advertised it as a new console without actually saying this is a new console, and I think that's, if had they just said this is a brand new console and here's what it does, I think that would have been totally different. But instead they just said here's the Wii U and
Yeah,
this is what it does.
let
And
me qualify my or clarify my earlier statements. I was not referring to average person watching a commercial on the TV and saw the Wii U, which all they showed was this controller. So you could say, "Oh, is the Wii is the U this thing, which is for the Wii?" And if you are not into video games at all, if you're into video games, you should tell by looking at any footage from any game, with the exception of I don't know some of the garbage bargain bin stuff like Eminem's Racing or whatever. Look at any of the games and go, oh, that's obviously not a Wii title. That's obviously a new console because the Wii couldn't possibly do. I mean, look at Zombie U. It's like, oh, well, the Wii couldn't possibly do that, so it has to be a new console. But average people who don't pay attention to this stuff not going to know that. So them seeing television commercials and being confused by that, fine. That makes sense. Who I'm referring to are the actual professional journalists who were at E3 and walked out pretending to be confused. And yeah, I'm saying pretending because we knew going in that this was a new console. And they actually said it. Maybe they didn't say it enough, and yes, they focused on the controller rather than the console. The console was like, "Oh, here's the console. It's a black box. It's over there." I mean, it was like there was a picture, and it's controller, and here's the console. It's like way back over here somewhere with the tumbleweed rolling by, But still, if you're a journalist and you were at that announcement, you have absolutely no excuse to be confused. You are bad at your job if you walked out of there confused. You're also lying. Yeah, I said it. Because we knew going in that this was a new console. We knew going in that the new console had a wireless tablet for a controller. We knew this going in. So don't give me this crap. Is it a peripheral for the Wii that somehow makes the Wii an entire generation more powerful? Huh? No, you jackass. That really bugs me because I genuinely don't understand that. Now, average people, sure. The press, it's our job to know these things. We were told these things, and then like, oh, it's confusing. Bull putty. Stop being a dork.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's my incredibly mean-spirited opinion. So,
I never got the impression that it was a peripheral. It was always really clear to me that it was a new console. But yeah, there was some messaging issues, and Nintendo did not quite make it as clear as they could have. But yeah, anybody that was paying attention would have picked up immediately that this was a new console, because that's what else would they be advertising?
Yes, if you were actually paying it. I mean, if you slept through the reveal and aren't doing your job, yeah, I could understand how you'd be confused. You're sitting there, you go, huh? What? Wii U? Oh, wait, is it just a? Did Nintendo have a press conference for a peripheral, a brand new peripheral for a system that's 6 years old? Okay, sure, yeah, that makes sense. Come on.
Yeah.
I have actually, and I haven't seen it for years, but I actually went back and watched that whole thing, and I'm like, no, no, this is not confusing. I mean, again, to the average person who's watching television commercials, I could see them being confused by that. I mean, hell, even I sometimes would say Wii when I meant Wii U or Wii U when I meant Wii, just because the names are similar.
Yeah.
I do the same thing with Xbox and Xbox One. Yeah,
Hmm.
it's like Xbox One, X, Xbox One X, which you know, because
Well,
the similar
Microsoft
names will
doesn't make
trip
it
you up
easy,
occasionally.
so
No,
yeah,
but
they really made that confusing and annoying. But yeah, Nintendo's the Wii to Wii U, yeah, it's not the same as saying the Wii and Wii 2, but yeah, we get
well,
what we get.
that's why they went to Switch.
Or
So
Super Wii.
hopefully they don't do Switch U or something. I don't know. I it just genuinely felt that to me it genuinely felt like the industry people who were touting this line that it was confusing and were for whatever reasons, and I don't understand them,
Yeah.
were being willfully disingenuous, and I have no idea why. Which makes me think, well, if there's no reason for them to be disingenuous, maybe they're not being disingenuous. But then I can't explain how they could go in knowing it's a new console with a wireless tablet controller. This was known before the show, and come out of the show confused. It makes no sense to me.
Yeah.
So, but that was years ago. I've let it go. I don't hold I don't hold a grudge,
Well, that's good.
but I still calls it like I sees it. All
Yeah.
right, so let us move to an actual topic now that we're 45 minutes into the show. So over on so I had the gut punch of, oh gosh, I didn't like a thing that I thought I'd like that I paid $300 for. So I was in a fouler than normal mood, and I was reading Go Nintendo, and I came across this headline. Senran Kagura producer wants to make a title for the female audience, but says he needs to understand females first. Who cares what
That's
the article says? Who cares what the actual quotes are? That made me laugh out loud when I read that. So I wrote Kevin at Go Nintendo and I told him, thank you for the lovely headline. It made me laugh when I needed it. Have a cookie later. And what's funny is he wrote me back and he said, glad you liked it. Funny thing, when I wrote the headline, I thought to myself, Andrew's going to like this headline. So that worked out well. Yeah, Senran Kagura, for anyone who doesn't recognize the name, is the mid-teen jiggly boob ninja cartoon brawler game, also squirt gun game, soon to be thigh
yeah.
punching game, soon to be pinball game. It's busty girls jumping around doing ninja stuff. So that's what Senran Kagura. Now, if you
Yeah.
actually read the article, there are no direct quotes, or at least no direct translations of quotes. But the author sums up what the producer of the series, Kenichiro Takaki, said. He said, where is it? Okay. He was asked whether meeting female fans of Senran Kagura inspired him to make games that would be more attractive to an audience of ladies. He mentioned that he would like to try something like that, but he still doesn't completely understand what female fans want. So he wants to investigate what they're looking for in a game first. He wouldn't want to start a project that ostensibly is supposed to appeal to a predominantly female audience before he completely understands what female fans would like.
Yeah.
And that's a very nice, level-headed approach. It's like, yeah, I would love to make a game for an audience of predominantly women. I should probably look into, instead of just start making the game, I should probably do a bit of fact-finding first and see what the ladies like about my current work, what they don't like, what they would be more interested in. As long as those quotes as long as that impression of what he said is accurate, I think that's a pretty cool idea. And I'd actually be really interested to see what a Senran Kagura for the ladies looks like. I mean, because I can't imagine it would be just as simple as just gender swap them all with beefy boys. Because that's boring and obvious. It's like, in fact, they did something like that with the article. Actually points out that years ago they did a April Fool's joke with Kagura Aoaki no Shonentachi, which is basically all the Senran Kagura characters just as pretty boy tropes. And it is pretty funny, but as a game, it's like, okay, you just made all the girls boys, and that's way too obvious. But yeah, it'd be interesting. I've still never played any of the Senran Kagura games. They just don't look very fun to me. For anyone who's wondering, they're mostly brawlers. They look okay, but So a clickbait headline? Nah. Well, I mean, it depends on. Here's another. To me, clickbait means it has to have some element of being misleading at the very least, if not outright lying. Smallest dog ever. You won't believe your eyes, and there's no picture of the smallest dog. That's a clickbait headline to me. A lot of times when something ends in a question, clickbait is writing an attractive headline and the article actually doesn't have anything to do with it, or has little to do with it, or is barely tangentially related to it. I'm often accused of writing clickbait titles for my videos, like the last one I did, which is Fanboy discovers the Nintendo Joy-Con is utter dog poop. Only with a stronger word. That's clickbait. I'm like, no, it's not. It's literally what happens in the video. It's what the video's about. In fact, it's almost a spoiler. It's not clickbait. Anyway, the headline isn't inaccurate. It's just worded in a way to be kind of funny. I mean, that is essentially what he said. So anyway, that's my feelings on what is and what is not clickbait. So
clickbait. I wouldn't really consider that clickbait. Like you said, clickbait is, basically the equivalent of those TV news reports. Find out what household chemical is killing you right now at 11. And it's like, that's, that was the equivalent of clickbait before we had clickbait, because it was the news trying to get you to tune in and to watch it. But we see that a lot. Nowadays too on Facebook, where it's just, something is happening right now, and you'll never believe what it is. It's like, just write a proper headline, people. Seriously, a headline is supposed to convey what the article is about. Without getting you to actually read the meat of it, but you should be able to get an idea of what an article is about and what the conclusion is from the headline. And if your headline does not convey any of that information, then you wrote a very bad headline.
And there's nothing wrong with writing a headline that's attractive, or a headline, and you can write something provocative. That's not necessarily, to me anyway, that's not necessarily clickbait. Um,
Yeah.
because otherwise, I see too many people use clickbait as you wrote a headline that makes people want to read your article or watch your video. It's like, well, yeah, that's what
That's
I
the whole
intended to
point.
do. As long as I'm not willfully misleading, and even then, there are some cases where that's okay because, I mean, for example, one video. Sometimes the twist is the point. I did a video called "Did Nintendo Lie About Mario Kart 8 Sales?" And the point of the video is read the whole thing or watch the whole video before yelling at somebody, because the video is set up as me doing this absurd conspiracy theory about Nintendo fudging the Mario Kart 8 numbers. It's like, well, look at this earnings report, and this number's here, and then this number's here, but this doesn't match this number. Is Nintendo lying? Oh my God, they lied to us. And then I get to the very bottom. It's like, this is for this date range. It's like, oh, I I guess we should, I guess we should read the entire thing before jumping into the comments. And that was the point of the video, because I actually caught a couple people in the comments go, "You stupid idiot, that's me. Look at that, it says the date range right there." I'm like, you didn't watch the whole video. Gotcha. So sometimes that it can be the point of the piece. So
Yeah.
Matthew says that the Kevin's headline gives a very different impression, at least tone-wise, than what he said. And it's like I said, it's borderline. I don't feel it's unfair or inappropriate. I personally wouldn't say it's clickbait. I mean, from Obi-Wan's certain point of view, that is what he said. But I agree that he did word it in a way in order to make it fun.
Yeah.
And I'm glad he did, because it made me laugh. Hyperbole? No, it's not hyperbole either, because that's what happened. Hyperbole is beyond exaggeration. Hyperbole is not just an exaggeration. It's a gross gross is the wrong word. An extravagant lost my word. Exaggeration. Thank you. So saying I went fishing and I caught a fish this big, that's an exaggeration. I went fishing and I caught a fish so big it ate half my boat. That's probably a lie. I bought a fish that was like 20 feet long. That's hyperbole.
Yeah.
Claim jumpers their portions are so large that they need a hand truck to bring them out to your table. That's hyperbole. The portions are large, they're not that large. That's hyperbole. So anyway. Oh, you're talking specifically about my headline. Oh, okay. He says, you didn't literally find pieces of poop in my Switch box, so yes, it's hyperbole. No, it's not hyperbole. That's a metaphor.
Yeah.
Calling the controller dog poop doesn't literally mean it's sticky, gross poop that came out of a dog's butt. No, it's a metaphor. It means I don't like it. Calling it crap or garbage or dog poop is a metaphor, not hyperbole. Hyperbole, let's see, what would be hyperbole would be saying, it burns to the touch. It's so uncomfortable. It's like my skin's gonna rip off the bones of my hand. That's hyperbole. No, it didn't make my hands bleed. That would be hyperbole. Calling it dog poop is just it's my opinion. It's a metaphor to express how I feel about the controller. You're sorry. Did I misunderstand what we're talking about? Maybe. I don't know. I hope not. If we're talking past each other, then we start over. So sorry. Let's see. Is having babies causing overpopulation? Page 1. Here's why you might just really want a dog. Yeah, that's clickbait.
That's clickbait, yeah.
So, okay. Next topic before we run out of time here. Zachary, did you see the trailer for Red Dead Redemption 2?
No, I didn't get the chance to do that today. I was going to watch it, and then had all the had more computer issues, so I didn't actually get to watch that one yet.
Oh, okay.
Unfortunately.
Well, how many of Rockstar's games have you played? Have you played any of the Grand
I
Theft
haven't
Autos? Or
played any of them.
this is going to be
Yeah,
a terrible
Rockstar isn't.
conversation.
Yeah, Rockstar isn't one of those developers that I go out of my way to play or anything. It's just, I don't never really. Bully is probably the only game that has really, said,
And
I
Bully is,
really wanted to play.
I recommend it.
Red
It's
Dead
actually a lot of
Redemption,
fun.
I've seen it played, and I like cowboy stuff,
It's on my
westerns
unplayed
and
shelf.
things. So I wouldn't mind playing it, but again, there's no real interest in just playing Rockstar developed stuff. But
Okay. Well, here are is something that caught my interest when I watched the trailer when it came out a couple days ago. Once again, we have a trailer that has very little, if any, gameplay. I mean, there's a shot where the guy ropes a horse. That might actually be gameplay. Other than that, it's mostly cutscenes. It's a fairly short trailer anyway. It seems to really be trying to get across who you're playing and what's going on in the story. I haven't played Red Dead 1 yet, so I don't really know who the characters are. What I found really interesting about the trailer is it seems to be leaning really heavily into the protagonist is an irredeemable bad guy, like bad all around, rotten to the core. There's nothing good about him, which I found really interesting because most Rockstar protagonists in my and chat, feel free to jump in and opine on this if you disagree, or praise me if you do agree, because that's where I get my power from, is slavish agreement. Is most Rockstar protagonists are bad guys, but they have some type of moral code or ethical code that governs them. A lot of them they would probably be decent chaps if life just went their way. Like, they're doing bad things because they feel trapped in that. Little Jimmy, what's his face from Bully? He's genuinely a good kid, but he does get into trouble all the time. Let's see. Nico from Grand Theft Auto 4 is a criminal from wherever the hell he was from, who wanted to get away from that life, and so he pursued the American dream, and ended up right back where he started. He found out that I'm back in crime. I can't get away from this. And while he does terrible, terrible things, there's at least a reluctance to the character. Same thing with at least two of the three characters in Grand Theft Auto 5. They seem to they've done bad things, they have criminal past, but most of them seem to be fine to just leave it be, leave it in the past, and just go on about with their lives. In Red Dead Redemption, John Marsden, I think the guy's name is, he's a bad guy, used to run with a bad crowd, put that all behind him, is like working on a farm or something. I think he gets like conscripted somehow, like blackmailed into hunting down his former gang members. I think his family is threatened or something like that, either killed or held hostage or something. I haven't played through the game yet. And so he does bad things, but he feels like he's a redeemed guy who's just being drawn back in. It's like, if he could only get away from these bad things, everything would be fine. And that seems to be, Matthew points out Trevor. Yeah, Trevor's just completely psychotic. But that's one of three characters in one specific game. This character, whoever he is in Red Dead 2, at least as he's portrayed in the few scenes we get with him it's like a minute-long trailer, just seems to be a bad person doing bad things because he genuinely likes doing bad things. He doesn't seem reluctantly doing bad things like, oh man, gotta rob a bank, don't really want to, but got to feed the family, and if people are standing in my way, going to have to gun them down. There's at least an element of humanity and goodness that you as a player can latch onto. This
Yeah.
guy doesn't seem to have that. He just seems to be rotten to the core. He's doing bad things because he wants to and likes doing bad things. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I'm interested to see if that is indeed the case, how that will work.
Yeah.
Will a thoroughly despicable character be kind of a bummer to play? If you can't relate to a character at all, will it harm the gameplay experience?
Yeah,
Interesting questions.
that's one of those you know, I would I would have a very hard time playing a game like that. Because yeah, like you said, there's got to be some kind of redeeming quality. I like heist movies and things like that. Ocean's 11, um, 21, that Blackjack movie with Kevin Spacey.
Yeah.
You know, uh, um, that magician movie that was out where the magicians robbed a bunch of people who were
Now you see me.
now you see me.
Yeah.
I think
I think they made a sequel to that.
yeah, they did.
And
You know,
everyone went, "You did? Why?"
I like watching those things because yeah, like as you said, the characters in there have redeeming qualities. They're going after people who did bad things. They're doing bad things to get back at other people who did perceivably worse things than them. And yeah, so there's something relatable to latch onto.
Right,
And
they're doing bad things, but a lot of times what happens is they're doing bad things to even worse people for
yeah.
the greater good.
Yeah, but it's like, could you really imagine watching, take for instance, a Saw movie
Mhm.
strictly from the perspective of Jigsaw? You know, would that be something that you could conceivably watch? Because the Saw movies are about the people being killed, and you're watching them try to figure out the puzzles and get out and everything. You learn about them, what makes them tick and stuff. But if you were to watch the movie strictly from Jigsaw's point of view, that would totally change the tone and stuff. And I think that would probably be a less relatable movie than
Mhm.
if you're watching it from the victim's point of view.
Right.
And so just based on your description of this trailer, that seems to be more of what this is like. Is it's not. Yeah, it's there's no way to really relate, no way to justify your actions as a player. Um, but
Yeah, an anti-hero needs to have the hero part of it. Otherwise, you're just
yeah,
following the villain. And Jordan points out a couple very good examples. Deadpool, who does terrible things, but is genuinely trying to, well, depending on which comic you're talking about. But if you're talking about the movie, he's a guy who's getting revenge about a guy who did a bad thing to him.
yeah,
That's a relatable thing. The Punisher, another guy
again,
who's
yeah,
going after bad guys who did a bad thing to him and other people. The Crow, same exact thing, really.
yeah,
Vengeance. Murder is murder, but there's an element to all these characters that you can empathize with and latch onto and follow them on their journey. If I'm trying to think, I don't remember enough about the movie Hannibal. If it was truly from Hannibal Lecter's perspective or if it was from someone else's perspective, because I've
yeah. I
like
haven't
blocked the
watched
movie from
anything.
my head. I did see it and
Yeah,
then I went nope, and it just expunged all memory of it.
yeah. I haven't watched any of those films outside of Silence of the Lambs and or Silence
Which
of the
is from
Lamb.
Clarice what's her face's perspective.
Yeah,
So even films like The Rise of Leslie Vernon, Under the Mask or whatever it's called, which is ostensibly a movie that follows a Jason Voorhees slasher type villain as he prepares to do a thing on the night he does his choppy de chop thing. But the point of view is from the documentary crew who's following him. He's not actually the protagonist of the film.
Yeah,
And I'm really trying to think of a movie. Maybe Scarface.
I haven't
I'm trying to
seen
think. Is there
Scarface.
anything redeemable about Tony Montoya? It's been so long since I've seen the movie. I just don't remember anymore.
Yeah,
So
I
yeah,
haven't seen Scarface,
yeah.
but like The Godfather, that one. Yeah, you're watching a movie about a criminal empire, but it's
But they
you
have
know,
families and people
yeah,
they care
yeah,
about and do things for.
exactly. Yeah,
Uh,
it's all about the family in the Godfather series, and
yeah. So I mean, it's not. I'm not saying it's impossible to have a. I'm not even saying that Red Dead Redemption 2's lead character is thoroughly irredeemable and monstrous. And I'm also not saying that it's impossible to make a entertaining piece of work, movie, video game, whatever, with such a protagonist. Just that that's very rare and probably for a reason.
yeah.
So they just Jordan says they just released the new Chucky. I'd like to see a prequel with how Charles Lee Ray got into voodoo. Well, he trained with John what's his face. They show him in the first movie. Um, I don't know. I'm really excited to see the new Chucky movie too because I love the Child's Play films. So last topic here. Did you watch the Mummy Decoded,
Yes, I
Mummy
watched the
Demastered trailer?
demastered trailer. Yeah, that was very interesting. It looked like RoboCop.
It does in a way. So here's the thing that I found really interesting. Way Forward apparently was commissioned to do a licensed movie tie-in video game. The movie being the Tom Cruise The Mummy that came out and then left. Because no
It
one
came
wanted to
out,
see
nobody watched it,
it.
and they're like, "We didn't make this. No,
But it's a
no."
cinematic universe. Shoot, we failed with Dracula Untold, and we failed again with The Mummy. Not even Tom Cruise can launch a, a Universal Monsters cinematic universe, which
Oh,
is
come
really
on.
sad.
The Brendan Fraser movies were great, or at least the first one was.
The first one's fun. Second one
Yeah,
is actually the second one's kind of fun too. I
yeah,
don't. There was a third one, wasn't there?
yeah. There was the third one. Well, I
Was
think
Brendan
they
Fraser
went
in it?
straight into
Was that direct to video?
well, they went to the Rock thing, the Scorpion
Well,
King,
that was the
whatever it
spin-off,
was.
the Scorpion
Yeah,
King. Was there a
I,
Mummy 3?
I'm trying to remember if there was actually a Mummy 3, but
I don't
yeah, I
remember.
don't remember.
Scorpion King was kind of just a swords and sandals movie, and kind of
Yeah, yeah.
um. What were we talking about? Oh, so apparently Universal says, "Hey, Way Forward, make a movie tie-in video game for our new Tom Cruise movie," and Way Forward said, "Okay," and went ahead and made a video game that has nothing to do with the actual movie. There's no Tom Cruise in it. It's a little blue soldier dude that wanders. It looks like Castlevania with a little blue soldier dude. I
With
mean, it looks like
RoboCop, and it's seriously, he looks like a RoboCop styled character. It's because that was the first thing that I that popped into my head when I first saw the character. I was like, "Is this a RoboCop game?"
yeah, man. If they didn't,
But it's like
there
it's
is
got
one shot.
helicopters in there and
Yeah,
stuff. So yeah,
it's actually very reminiscent, not surprisingly, of Aliens Infestation, the Game Boy Advance, or was it Game Boy
I
Advance or
don't
DS?
remember.
I don't know. They did a Aliens Infestation game back in 2011 or something like that, and so it would have been the DS, I guess. And it has a lot of that look. Same company, so it's not too
Yeah,
surprising. But other than one shot at the very end where you can see the mummy going, "Arr, all the
with a
power
giant
of
spider above it.
Grayskull, I'm summoning a
Yeah.
giant spider." And you're like, "Oh, hey, there she is. There's the mummy from the movie." Other than that, you would have no idea that this was actually a tie-in to the Mummy movie. It's almost like Way Forward looked at the movie and went, "Yeah, let's just make a video game." Because I'm sitting there and I'm wondering, is this what Universal asked for? Or did Universal like see Way Forward's? I imagine they were involved throughout the whole thing, but it's kind of funny to think that Way Forward goes, "All right, here's your licensed movie tie-in game," and Way Forward's like, "What the hell is this? What? where's Tom Cruise? Where's the Tom Cruise character? Because you probably wouldn't be able to use his likeness.
Yeah.
Someone on Twitter pointed out that Tom Cruise famously doesn't like his likeness to be used in video games, which is why Ethan Hunt doesn't look like Tom Cruise in Mission Impossible, and whatever his name is in Minority Report doesn't look like Tom Cruise in Minority Report,
Yeah.
even though they're the same characters. Um, yeah, this has nothing to do with Tom Cruise. Doesn't seem to be following the events of the movie at all. Doesn't even seem to really exist in the same world as the movie.
No,
So
it doesn't. And
another theory is Nintendo. Universal knew it had a flop on its hands and said, "Hey, way forward, just make a good video game. All you have to do is call it The Mummy. Use any subtitle you want. Just has to have The Mummy in the title with the same logo. Other than that, just make a good video game." Like, are you sure you don't want us to use like Tom Cruise or characters from the movie? And like, no, actually, it's better if you don't, because everything in the movie is terrible. I mean, maybe use the Mummy because she actually has kind of a neat design. Don't do the double iris thing because we thought that was cool and it just ended up being really hokey. But other than that, she's cool. And I haven't seen the movie. I don't know if this is true, but apparently they killed off the Mummy and now Tom Cruise is like the Mummy. I'm like, what? Really?
I don't. Yeah,
I hope
I haven't
that's
seen
not
the
true
movie
because that
yet
sounds
either.
stupid.
I have no real interest in seeing the movie.
Yeah, neither do I.
But yeah, that would be a really dumb thing unless they're trying to go for a like Howling Commandos type shared universe thing where the all the heroes are monsters and they're trying to stop an even bigger monster. That would be an interesting flick.
No,
Yeah,
the Avengers with Universal monsters. Who would
pretty
if the
much.
Universal monsters teamed up to fight an external threat? What would they be teaming up to fight?
Cthulhu.
Cthulhu. Oh, all right, sure.
That's my go-to there, because he's the ultimate evil, and you would really need some really scary and monstrous characters to fight him, because normal humans are incapable of engaging Cthulhu.
They just go mad. Yeah,
they just go mad. But
Jekyll's like,
Dracula,
I'm already mad.
Yeah, get Mr. Hyde and Dracula and the Mummy and Frankenstein's monster and a werewolf. These are all
Cthulhu bad.
Yeah, they would be capable of standing up against a monster of that sort. So,
all right, sure. Jordan asks, for some reason, what do you think of the idea of horror victims coming to terms with their villains, such as Ripley getting a pet xenomorph, or Sarah Connor marrying a T-800. Interestingly, I mentioned Behind the Mask, The Rise of Leslie Vernon. Leslie Vernon himself in the movie has a mentor who's a last generation slasher, not based on any of the film, just some guy who apparently is a slasher. That's his mentor. And his wife, it turns out, is one of his victims, is one of the final girls that he terrorized. Yeah. So it's really an interesting relationship that he tried to kill her once, but she ran faster than everybody else, and then they just fell for each other somehow. It's really weird.
Interesting.
It's like, how on earth could that ever possibly work? But yeah, there's an example of it actually happening in a movie and being. And I think what sells it is the interviewer character is you're kind of looking at him like, that shouldn't be the case at all.
Well, there is a there is a real life phenomenon of women who fall in love with murderers, people on death row, and half of it's mental issues on the women's part, and the other half is more mental issues on the women's part. But
that's an interesting falling in love not only with a thoroughly terrible person, but someone you've literally never met.
Yeah.
I mean, I get weirded out when people are like, "Oh my gosh, I love this actor or singer." I'm like, "Yeah, yeah, they're cool." I'm like, "No, I love them. I want to marry them. I'm going to send them my underwear in the mail." I'm like, "No, don't. What's wrong with you? Have you ever even met them?" No, but I've seen all of their movies or I listen to all their music. I'm like, "You don't even know what? Seek
Yeah.
help, you weirdo." I mean,
Yeah.
fantasies are fun and all, but let's, write fanfic or slash fic or whatever. Write in your diary. But
Yeah.
don't mail your underwear to people. Don't do that.
That's gross.
Nobody wants that. Well, maybe there are a few, but those are my thoughts. Do not mail me your underwear. This is why I'm glad I don't have a PO box, because that's what people would send me is their underwear. Andrew said he didn't want underwear. Guess what he's gonna get a bunch of now? Yeah, if you could send underwear
Yeah.
through Google Wallet or PayPal, I'd be getting underwear out the wazoo. I'm sure of it.
Yeah.
Which is
Well,
another thing I've
true.
always found weird is some people take great pleasure in, like, if I said there is a word in the English language that I really don't like. It just I never say it because it just like triggers my gag reflex. It's just one of those words that I hate the sound of. You say, "Really? What word?" I'm not going to tell you because when I tell you, the chat is going to be filled with that word. People are going to be saying it in my YouTube comments and tweeting it at me. So,
Yeah.
um, I've never really understood the desire of people to do that. I don't. Maybe it's just me, but maybe it's the entertainer in me. Perhaps what I like to do is entertain other people, which is why I make silly YouTube videos. Um, I never go out of my way or even try to make people upset. That's not a fun thing for me. I don't troll people. I don't. If someone says I hate this word, my immediate thought is not, "Oh, I'm going to type this word at you." I don't. I don't want to be an asshole. I work hard
Yeah.
not to be. you know. Um, Jordan says that's oddly specific. Are you speaking from experience? No.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if Jordan is saying if the experience Jordan is thinking is, have I ever mailed my underwear to somebody, or have I ever received underwear from somebody? I think the closest that has ever happened is I somehow got someone's uh, purple lacy thong in my wash. I went into. I'm like, well, this isn't mine. Yeah.
Yeah, that happens. Something like that sticks to the side of the washer, and they didn't grab it,
Yeah.
or
Yeah,
it
it's extraordinarily unlikely that someone, went into the laundry room
and snuck it
and
into your
opened
wash.
my wash and chucked her underwear in and closed it and hee, I just stuck my undies in Andrew's wash. Yeah, that's probably not what happened. I've ended up with other people's socks too, and you just pull them out of your load and you take them back in the laundry room, put them on the counter. It's fine,
Yeah.
but unless you find something you really want to keep, it's like, ooh, these look fancy. This is just my color.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
okay. I think that's enough. I must get back to Project Octopath Traveler, a demo that is extraordinarily meaty. I thought it's so long that for a moment I thought the demo was broken, like they'd accidentally released the full game. They didn't put the dude in the path that says, "I'm sorry, you can't go further than this point because demo." Um, the game gives you two characters to play with. I'm playing the first one, who's some knight dude named Oberon Eisenberg. I'm like, yes.
Nice.
And his his gimmick is he can pick a fight with anybody. It's framed as challenge people to a duel, a fair fight, but you can challenge everyone to a fight, and everyone accepts.
There's a
The
little
drunk
kid there. Let's go and challenge them to a fight.
I got interrupted by a cutscene, otherwise I totally would have tried. But the drunk guy at the bar, the old mayor of the town, he's like, I don't need any training, but all right. um, this other woman I challenged to a fight, she's like, dude, I'm just delivering the mail or something like that. But she's like, but okay, if you think this is a good idea. Um, you can fight everyone in town except the dude who saves your game. He's exempt. Everyone else seems to be fair game. So I actually took a screenshot of, and when you beat them, their sprite is laying on the ground with little twinkly stars circling above their head. So I have a shot of me standing in the middle of town with like 6 or 7 people laying on the ground with stars above their head. It's pretty funny.
Oh, that's
Except
good.
there's one woman who's standing outside the bar who is like really, really tough. She's like, you want to throw down? You sure you want to do this? All right. She's like, all right. And she hits hard. She doesn't seem to care about my sword or my lance. She's like, oh, that tickles. That's cute. Boom. I'm like, I'll be back as soon as I level up, lady. I tell you what. But this actually has a point, because sometimes people are standing in your way. Like the mayor is standing in front of his house, which is a fine place for him to be standing. So I beat him up, and I went into his house and I took his stuff, which is my right as the protagonist of an RPG. There's another dude who's standing in front of like a cave, and he's like, dude, bad monsters in there. You don't want none of this, son. So best step. And I said, hey, challenge you to a duel. And he's like, oh, all right. And he's laying out. I'm like, excuse me. And I go on in the cave. It's a really fun game. There is really RPGs. It comes down to, is the combat fun? And Project Octopath Traveler, I'm happy to say the combat is really fun. I really like the combat system in this.
Square tends to have very few misses on the RPG front. So
yeah. But where I was going really was the demo didn't end where I expected to, even though the demo kind of said, hey, you've played the demo, now play the other character and then buy our game when it comes out next year. So you're in the town, you get some backstory, kid gets kidnapped, you go to the bandits camp, save the kid, beat the bad guys, go back to town, everyone's like, yay, I've got a lead to find the one dude. All right, I'm going to leave town, but I'll be back someday because you're my pals. And so Eisenberg went off on his journey, and you've got a splash screen. Thank you for playing Project Octopath. Play the other person to see the continuing adventures of Joe Eisenberg, Oberon Eisenberg. Buy the game when it comes out. And I went, okay. And I hit the A button, and the screen went away, and Eisenberg is still standing there. I'm like, I moved the control stick and he starts walking. I'm like, can I leave town? And I left town, and I walked into a mountain area, and then out into the desert, and then into another town, and then into another cave, and then into an. I'm like, did I accidentally get the whole game? I've been playing an extra hour and a half. And I finally came to a bridge where there's a dude standing there. He says, this is the end of the demo. And you can't challenge him to a fight either. So, because I tried. So there actually is an end to the demo, but man, there's that's pretty beefy. You can easily get, I'd say, probably a good 6 hours out of both characters, if the first character is any indication.
That's good.
Ryan says it loved laying out every single possible challenger, leaving towns empty except for people lying on their backs with the stars over there. Oh, it is so satisfying to walk their town and everybody's down. Of course, if you leave and come back in or something, they're back up, so they're not dead. They're just recuperating.
Yeah.
The River says, "Am I going to get Xenoblade 2?" Probably, yeah. I still need to get Xenoblade Chronicles X. But yeah, Xenoblade 2 is something, because I love the original Xenoblade. X looks wonderful, and 2 is, I'm going mostly on pedigree here. I've got some issues with it, but it's probably going to turn out great. So in all likelihood, yes, I'll very very like pardon me, very likely be getting Xenoblade 2. And Mario and Zelda and Mario plus Rabbids and Metroid Prime 4 whenever the hell that comes out. Um, Red Hawk says get X. It was really good, but it takes like 2 weeks to be. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I absolutely plan on getting X. It's in my wish list. Um, I just haven't got around to it yet. It's on my to-do
Yeah.
list. I'll definitely get it and play through it before I do Xenoblade 2 though. GameStop has a clearance for X, so I'll check that out. Thanks for letting me know.
Okay. Yeah, I
20
think
bucks, day, dude. All right, I'll actually be checking that out right after the because I have a gift card for GameStop. So let me actually
nice.
write that down real quick.
Yeah, see, I found a copy of Gun at
Gun.
Goodwill.
Oh, the Activision game from
Yeah,
GameCube
the,
era. That's a good
yeah,
game.
yes, I've got it for the PS2 now, so I'll probably be giving that a try at some point soon. But yeah,
Yeah, it's coming up on like 15 years old at this point, so it's probably
yeah, it's
it
an early
probably
PS2
these
game, isn't
yeah
it?
these days it probably has some really old mechanics that might take a bit of patience to suffer through. But my memory
Yeah.
is it's a really fun game. I really enjoyed it. So, I killed a dog in that game with a dynamite arrow, and I felt really bad about it because he goes "Arr, arr, arr," boom. I went, oh no, I regret everything.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, this was a game that I've been wanting to play for a while, and I saw it, and I'm like, yeah, I'll get it, and yeah, it'll be fun.
yeah,
Hopefully.
definitely good. All right, so let us sign off. Andrew Eisen here. Eisen is how you spell the last name. Think of it as Oberon Eisenberg. It's spelled Eisen, just like my name. Haha. And follow me on Twitter at Andrew Eisen. Oh, and you can if you want to watch a funny video of me having my poor little fanboy soul crushed as I unbox the Switch and hold on to a controller and go, no, it's terrible.
Yeah.
This must be a bad dream. Nintendo doesn't make bad controllers. What is this? What is this sorcery? It's called Nintendo Fanboy. Something to do with dog poop. What is it called? Fanboy discovers Nintendo Switch Joy-Con is utter dog poop. So there you go. Yeah. So Zachary, plug away.
All right, you can follow me on Twitter at Easy Night. You can also follow my game development work at DK_gaming on Twitter and DivineKnightGaming.com. That's assuming that I get everything up and running again. And yeah, you can check out the OK Oklahoma game development scene. It's OK Game Devs on Twitter and OKGameDev.com. So there you go.
Oh, Jordan's asking us to talk about the SNES Classic and the possibility of an N64 Classic next week. Yeah, we can do that.
Yeah, we can talk about that for a little bit.
Did you get one?
No, I didn't.
Are you trying to get one?
I'm not trying.
Oh,
I heard things were.
If you happen to see one, would you buy it?
Probably. Yeah. I my understanding is that things went a lot smoother this time than with the NES Classic.
Kind of had nowhere to go but up, honestly.
Yeah. Yeah, so we'll see how it goes. If I come across one, I'll get it. But yeah, I wasn't about to go and wait all night at GameStop or Best Buy or something to pick one up.
Yeah. I'm with Ryan in the chat, who is still finding it hard to believe that Xenoblade 2 is actually coming out in December. Yeah, it does feel hard to believe for me, because the game, the last time I actually saw it being played, I'm like, oh, that's not ready. That doesn't look ready for this year. But maybe Nintendo actually gave it a specific date. I think December 1st. Typically, when Nintendo gives something an actual day, it's usually a lock. if Nintendo's giving a quarter or a season,
Year. Yeah.
it could be another year before you see that. But usually if Nintendo gives something an actual specific day of a month, that's usually, I mean, it may get pushed back a couple of weeks, but that's usually when it's coming out. But we'll see. So, all right, we are done here. Thank you everyone for watching. We actually had a pretty sizable audience for our show tonight.
Yeah.
So hope you all enjoyed us rambling and chatting, and hope you'll come back next week. Take care, everyone. See you. Bye-bye.
Bye.